Hey guys, welcome back to the BuzWeaver channel. And in our top stories today from Town Hall, Boston mayor sparks outrage by refusing to arrest drug dealers. Now, as we have said here on the BuzWeaver channel, when the establishment was in power, they emboldened and empowered the left and these Democrats to hijack our culture, hijack our institutions, and hijack our justice system. And now we're going to see a glimpse of this change, this sense of resistance. But you see, the establishment media, the establishment itself, along with the media, is not there to embolden these people anymore. They will still give them a platform, but their message and their ability to influence is no longer there. But they are continuing, and now we're going to see the absurdity and the links they are reaching to resist. Boston Mayor Michelle Wu has come under fire for her open refusal to arrest anyone involved in the drug trade, a stance that many critics argue will only exacerbate the city's ongoing opioid crisis. Wu's controversial position, which prioritizes leniency over law enforcement, has raised concerns regarding public safety and the rule of law. Exactly. Their leniency and this passive way of doing things, as though if you just allow these people the chance and opportunity, maybe they would see the light of day. It's kind of like the expression of, if you don't eat the lion won't eat you, but it's not, there's no basis of it for reason or logic. While she claims the policy is part of a broader approach to addressing addiction, opponents contend it sends the wrong message and undermines efforts to combat the escalating drug problem in Boston. And I would agree with that. Now, I think Town Hall was very measured with their article, because we're going to go over here to the Daily Mail, which kind of spells it out a little bit further for us. Fury as Boston's woke Democrat mayor claims criminals should not be prosecuted for these raft of shocking crimes. And it's extraordinary. And look, and here we go. So Wu has been mayor for Boston since November and has long supported a progressive approach to crime, but is now looking for some of the most basic offenses to be completely off limits to prosecution. Wu has argued for charges, including shoplifting and disorderly conduct, to be beyond the reach of prosecutors, along with other serious crimes, including receiving of stolen property and even driving with a suspended license. But Wu's progressive outlook goes even further, with the 39-year-old seemingly comfortable with offenders that commit quality-of-life crimes getting off scot-free. They include the breaking and entering of property, wanton and malicious destruction of property, minors in possession of alcohol and drug possession, including the distribution of marijuana and non-marijuana types. It's amazing. And this is what we saw, right, when it came to the George Floyd riots. I mean, these cities just didn't do anything. They did nothing. And it's extraordinary, is it not, that even we saw where it was Kamala Harris donated to these leftist causes and these leftist organizations. And it's extraordinary to me. Act Blue was where she donated. And we're seeing now that Act Blue was part of the malicious attacks on Tesla and some of the other two or three other organizations. But it's extraordinary how they perceive that, basically that, as we've always said here, that the Democrats never hold themselves to the same standards they expect from everyone else. So the rules are for thee and not for me. But I made this into a short here, but I want you guys to listen to this. This is their mindset. How can they say these things and do these things without a rational, cogent, mostly sober-minded person not realizing that we can clearly understand that they're contradicting themselves? They are making these self-defeating statements for the purposes of pandering to their base. Listen to this.
It is not a criminal violation to enter the country illegally. It's not a criminal. It's a crime. It's not a crime, which is why they're so frustrated, because they really want our local law enforcement to go out and round up people when they could be looking out for the murderers and the sexual abusers as well as the robbers. They want them to go and round people up on civil accusations.
Wow. It's not a criminal violation to enter the country illegally. So it's not illegal to come into the country illegally. It's mind-blowing, isn't it? It's absolutely mind-blowing. And then we have here, during the Biden administration, where these absurdities were happening, Biden admin locks up just 8 of 100-plus migrants with ISIS ties who cross into U.S., Tulsi Gabbard says. And it's absolutely amazing. The Biden administration locked up or deported just 8 of the more than 100 migrants with suspected ties to ISIS who crossed illegally into the U.S., Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard revealed Wednesday during a visit to the border. And she mentions it here, but I wanted to bring it up here on Laura Ingram's show here where you can hear it. It's just extraordinary.
Defense. Now, you revealed that the Biden administration, I didn't believe this headline, that they deported only 8 out of 100 illegals with ties to ISIS. That can't be. I mean, I actually can't even believe that's true. 8 out of 100?
I had the same doubts that you had when I got this information from our National Counterterrorism Center, because it is inconceivable to me to have a commander-in-chief and a president who would knowingly return those who are either known or suspected terrorists or those who had very close ties with known or suspected terrorists back onto our streets in their country. But unfortunately, it's exactly what happened. There were over 400 illegal immigrants who came from Central Asia into our country. Of those, there were hundreds who had either ties to terrorists or were terrorists themselves. As you said, the Biden administration arrested a bunch and then let them all go back into our country, other than 8. So this is where we are working very closely with the Department of Homeland Security and the FBI, with our National Counterterrorism Center, to make sure that we find them, that we remove them, and that we have the vetting in place to take this action to remove those from our country immediately who pose a threat.
Absolutely extraordinary, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I can understand being compassionate and being understanding and rehabilitating individuals if they're having problems or even drug issues. We've seen that in Seattle, for example, where they wouldn't arrest people necessarily if they were on the streets and they were doing drugs and so forth. But we're doing intervention calls or intervention actions to help these individuals with their drug problems. And I can understand all that. But like we see here in this image, this type of activity was very common during the George Floyd riots, as well as just riots in general, when the radical left would just get upset and they would just go and do things just because they were mad. And here we have, look at this, charges to be declined: trespassing, shoplifting, larceny, disorderly conduct, disturbing the peace. All these sorts of things are how do you have a polite society, a cordial society, a law-abiding society that allows this sort of activity to happen? And it's just a double standard. How do you have rules for certain groups of people that commit certain types of crimes, like we saw with BLM and with was it Black Bloc, as well as with Antifa? It's just amazing to me. But you guys can look these articles up if you want to check them out yourself, from the Daily Mail and from Town Hall. But I welcome your guys' thoughts and opinions on it. Are we not seeing a huge shakeup among the left? And of course, they are very upset. As we have said here, they're acting as though Donald Trump is some third-party entity that infiltrated the executive branch just to undermine their will, right? Like he's just there to disrupt their whole entire life and to disrupt their worldview, their ideology, their philosophy. And it's just, it's like, who is this person that's here doing all this? Who's this person in the executive branch that's controlling the executive branch, right? I mean, he's doing his job. And it is quite interesting to see all of what he's doing, and with the speed that he's doing it. I mean, the media can't even keep up. The radical judges can't even keep up. But Michelle Wu, this is just unheard of and ridiculous. And I can't even begin to imagine how they are going to go with this mindset into 2026. I mean, I know we're still, a year out from them starting to go into really. We're several months out before they start going into their campaigns, and then for those who will be up for election. But this is extraordinary. But I welcome your guys' thoughts and opinions down in the comments section below the video, across all new tech as well, BitChute, Rumble, and Odyssey, and those watching on TikTok, as well as all of you here, loyal subscribers to the BuzWeaver channel here on YouTube. I want to thank all you guys for your continued support. Below this video, you can find the various social media links that I belong to include X, as you see here, as well as my new links to TikTok. You guys can find me there. And, of course, if you order frequently from Amazon or are a Prime member, I have my landing page link there. You guys can utilize that, and your privacy is protected. It does help out the channel. And, of course, talking about privacy, Trust Zone, my favorite VPN, my virtual private network, is down there below. These are just options that give you an opportunity to help out the channel. But, of course, your likes, your shares, and your comments do that already. And it is hugely, as President Trump would say, very much appreciated. Now, appearing there on the screen, that would be the channel icon. You guys can click on that to subscribe, as well as to select notifications for all of you guys watching on YouTube. And I'll see all you guys in the next video.